The day was just okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, just okay. And is it okay to just have a day that's okay?
So here at NQT, we value transparency and authenticity. So we have a very important disclaimer at the beginning of the episode. This is not financial advice. This is a drum roll sound effect. Breaking news, Quincy James Adams. Am I getting the name right, Christian?
The third.
Quincy James Adams III,
Esquire.
Sir Royal Knight of the Fourth, our presidential Quincy,
Our
husband
Quincy.
of Lord
What if that were a
Adams,
sitcom? Our presidential Quincy.
husband of Lord Adams. He actually does have presidential experience. Chris, did you know this?
I do now, and that's why we're uttering this disclaimer here.
Multiple times has been class president. So Quincy, we salute you,
Yes!
my friend. It is an honor and a privilege to call you.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
That's the wrong sound drop there for Quincy. You know what? There's a chance we can all be president.
There's a
someday.
chance we can.
So,
Were you ever a
thank
president, Mike?
No, never.
Never presidential?
No, I've never been president of anything. What about you?
Sophomore class president.
Wow, sophomore.
Yeah, I was in charge of making sure we had a good fundraiser. And
Okay, like a $5 fundraiser. Like what is a sophomore class president? What do you do?
Well, we had a fundraiser. We sold college themed mugs to raise money for our our high school stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. That's
fascinating.
riveting information here. So, did you run again and then lose in your junior year?
I didn't like the responsibility to
It's too much.
to do
Too
my
much
junior
pressure.
year.
Too much pressure on the sophomore class
Well,
president.
I think I kind of got what I wanted out of it.
Oh, wow.
Got the glamour, the prestige. and then I was done with
walking
it.
down the hall, everyone's saluting you,
sell your cups.
bowing down.
Get those cups sold.
Oh,
We need a prom.
never president of anything else.
I don't remember being a president of anything else. I think
Okay.
I had my fill of
Yeah,
what
Too
that
much.
looked like.
Too much. Would you ever? What we've talked about this before? Actually, one of our last episodes. Would you ever run for in another life? Would you run for office? Be president? Consider that. Answer us right now.
I don't feel drawn to that.
No, not at all.
No, not at all.
Okay. If someone came to you with the opportunity to be the president,
Just said, Chris, we really need you.
Chris, we really want to put you on the ticket,
And on the ticket. Okay.
not the radio show.
Okay.
Presidential ticket. What would you do? Would you consider it? You're like, nope.
I would ask some questions.
Okay.
Am I really your guy?
Would be scary for those background checks.
What's in
Looking
it
that
for
up.
me?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think-
And most importantly, you got the cash.
what does the president? Doesn't the president make? What does the president make? Is it 250? What's like on
400,000?
Is it 400,000? Is that what it is? Okay. Obviously, they get more than that in different ways. But
Yeah, I'm sure.
okay, that's like your standard presidential salary, 400,000.
That's just to keep the lights on. Yeah.
Oh yeah, wow, that's a lot of money.
Yes!
Okay, so to keep our trend of authenticity and transparency, how was your day today?
My day. Well, thank you for asking, Michael.
Yeah. Did you just burp right before you answered? No.
That's not my transparency that I'm looking to share, but no, not. No,
We're honest here, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're asking how the day was.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I derailed my original question.
The day was just okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, just okay. And is it okay to just have a day that's okay?
Like a blah
Like
kind
a
of a
blah, like the sky's a little bit gray.
day? Yeah.
There's not really too much going on.
Mhm.
Not really looking forward to anything that's going to be happening on the weekend or
Like a mundane
like
kind of a day.
mundane kind
Yeah.
of blah.
Yeah.
I think the word blah, does it come from blasé? Is that?
Oh, good question.
I don't know.
I bet so. Is blasé the full term of blah?
I think blasé is
That's the formal word.
More describing something that's
But
mundane.
no guy's going to say I'm feeling blasé.
I'm feeling blasé.
Yeah,
No.
is that French? Yeah,
Mhm.
okay. So blah. Okay.
Blah.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Oh,
there.
how was your day? Did you have a blah day or you?
Today I didn't, but I have experienced. I've definitely experienced what you're saying multiple times. Like that's actually kind of a good descriptor. Whether or not that's like the real weather, it is kind of like that overcast. It's to me, it's kind of when I have days like that, I'm just like, eh.
Yeah.
Someone's like, yeah, how was your day? And you're like, I don't know. Like I worked today and that's about it.
Not much happened.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Just hard to feel, I don't know, motivated. So we say this. I hope everyone listening kind of maybe resonates with the same thing. But when it feels like a blah day. That's like in my head how I think I would describe it to someone.
Would it be any different if the Dallas Stars were starting in the Stanley Cup Finals tonight?
Wow.
Would that give you some? No, I'm going somewhere with this because I think our culture tends to kind of move us toward events. And
so you're using a real example to tear me down, but then to make a really good point at the same time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Being transparent.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you for your transparency. I don't think it would change the overall picture. I mean, I love the Stars and love lots of major sports. I'm not crazy like about them, where if they were playing in the Stanley Cup tonight, I'm not like, oh, they got the Stanley Cup and it's going to be the greatest ever. Like, I don't know if I'd feel that way. But I will say, if I'm having a blah day, it sure doesn't help that they're knocked out of the playoffs while that continues. You know, like that just adds to like, oh yeah, there's nothing on TV either. It just adds to the pessimistic feeling, the negative feeling of just like nothing's going right today, kind of a thing. Today's just kind of poopy.
Well, imagine that the Stars and the Mavericks were both in finals.
Sure.
Dallas. It would be pretty exciting, right?
I mean, that aspect would be exciting. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. That'd help. Yeah.
But now it's more of the doldrums, I guess, of sports, which kind of condition us to be excited about them when they're on. Not really much happening there.
Certain
baseball,
people, certain people, probably sports or something they can look forward to.
Right.
You know, sometimes middle of the week. We're recording this on a Wednesday. I think people can sometimes feel blah middle of the week or on a Monday. I don't think sometimes a lot of people feel that way on a Friday.
Yeah.
There's something a little more uplifting.
Looking forward to the weekend and a change of pace there from what the week has been, right? Mm-hmm. It's certainly a time of year where people are going on vacations and, I think there's probably a reason for that.
Summertime.
Time to get out of the mundane, right?
Yeah.
And so if you're not going on vacation, I can see how that could be.
Yeah, that would kind of add to it. Because then you look around and everyone else is going, and you're like, oh, you guys, okay, have a great time. I guess I'm not going anywhere for this summer. Yeah.
I think that plays into it. Throwing 100%. A great day around the Dallas-Fort Worth area and kind of get the recipe for blah.
I mean, social media, the comparison, they might be going on a trip or whatever it is they're doing. Typically, people are posting a bunch of exciting things. And if you don't seem to have the same level of excitement as they do about something going on in your life, I mean, you might even feel like, what's wrong with me?
Sure.
In the middle of that blah feeling. And I don't know. Most people I've talked with, I think everyone can resonate and has had multiple blah days, in their moments. I mean, man or woman.
Right.
Like today, like you're saying, I'm sorry you've been having a blah day, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
But I'm assuming it's obviously not your first one.
No. Not our first blah rodeo. But
so when you're feeling that way, because you might still be feeling that way right now. So I understand when I ask this question, you might just be like, I don't know. When you find yourself, it's like mid-morning, mid-afternoon, you almost like can't shake it. You just feeling that blah feeling. Do you do anything like later in the day to be like, okay, I need to reset myself? Do you just kind of fall into? Do you just, throw in the towel and kind of let that wash over you? Do you just chalk the days over? Let's just go to tomorrow. Like, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, as the well-practiced solution finder that I think I am by now, I try to find a way out.
Yeah.
What can change this up? What's the what's the mojo? How do we pull the goalie here and get something else going? But yeah,
is that another Stars reference right there?
I don't want to
just a
say
little
it.
bit. Oh, wow.
But do you think it is? Is that?
Yeah, do you think it is? I mean, could it be? Let's just stop talking about that topic. Let's just move on.
Okay, well, my apologies.
Yeah, how dare you? You're very mean when you're blah.
Well, that's why we're talking about it. We're trying to break out of it.
Yeah.
I like to at least try to figure out the reasons why. And so, physically, emotionally, spiritually, or all three, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Did I get enough sleep the night before? Probably not. Am I tired right now?
Sure.
What did I just have for lunch that's maybe causing me to feel a little bit, sugar high, and then, big old crash maybe.
Yeah.
So there's physical reasons for it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Emotionally, sure. Am I dealing with some jealousy of hearing about, others that are going on trips that I'd like to be going on or doing things? Yeah, sure. That can play into it too. Just the emotional feelings of, well, when will I be able to take a trip like that? Or is that something that I'm going to get to do at all this year?
Yeah.
That can certainly play into the blah.
Sure.
Start feeling sorry for yourself a little bit. The spiritual aspect, I think that crosses into that area too. God, what is it here that has me feeling like I need something more than you? And do I believe that you're going to provide what I need in this time, and what my family needs at this time, or do I need to go and try to do it on my own? So I think all of that added together can cause a big old blah feeling of I don't know what to do.
Do you consciously think through those questions when you're feeling blah? Because I want to throw those questions out the window and not work on it.
No, I think it takes actually thinking through a bit, like, why am I feeling this way? And I don't like feeling this way. And so what can I do to get out of it? And I think it all starts with being honest with yourself and asking yourself those questions. So it takes a little while to get to. I think it takes a while to wake up to the fact of, wow, I'm kind of feeling blah today.
Yeah.
Or I don't feel 100%. And, learning more and more, from our friends that have come on the show and talked about different things, in particular with Jake talking about ADHD, it has me thinking more and more about different tides. And, certainly there are, whether it be ADHD or not, there are certain up and down times during a day. And so how are you feeling at a certain time after lunch? Are you a little bit more down? Are you up? And just asking those kind of questions too, just to identify patterns in yourself. I think it's part of what God wants us to do is know ourselves and then bring those things to him.
Yeah, no, that's good. I don't always think about observing it for me or really questioning why. This is, for me, I feel like when I've had those days, and I've had them tons of times, it seems like for me, I'm being led by my emotions and I just don't care. It's just like I throw the papers in the air. Someone's like, hey, are you struggling in this area? Or even if someone's like, can I pray for you? There's a part of me I'm just like, nah, I don't care. If you want to, cool. Like, it's just this negative. It's just
it's
this,
a free country. Do what you want.
Yeah, it's like, cool guy. And I should be like, I should be so thankful that people will care or even give me the feedback.
Yeah.
Because I may not even know I'm blah until maybe, my wife or kids or friends or coworkers or a stranger. You get this feedback from them in a way where you're like, oh, I must be coming across, different today or something like that. But you got me thinking on physical, emotionally, and spiritually. I can't remember a time that when I've had a pretty rough blah day that it wasn't all three of them. I don't think I was doing well in any of those categories. And then doing bad in the other ones. I think I was doing bad in all of them at the same time. Like it seems like it's just spiritually I'm low and totally not thinking about God and him being in control and what he would want for me that day or what he's telling me to do or just his love for me. I'm not thinking about that. I think that would actually fuel me or remind my emotions or physicality, like, okay, like I got some wind in the sails. Emotionally, I think I'm checked out, or I just want to give up, and I just don't care. Just at a deep end, but I don't think I could go there without being low spiritually. And then physically, yeah, I would just feel like, I'd feel so low. I'd feel like just a weak. I don't know.
Yeah,
they feel combined. You know what I mean? They feel like they're all together. At least for me, on like blah days or blah moments.
When that happens, do you notice a difference where something that you might be excited about usually when you're not in the blah is not as, I don't know, it doesn't pique your interest as much?
When I'm feeling that way, nothing seems to get my interest going. Like it's just this dark cloud over me. Everyone kind of leave me alone. I'm probably not going to be good for you anyway. A lot of negative self-talk. There's probably a lot of attacks from the enemy. Yeah. It genuinely feels like I throw on the papers in the air and I'm going to just like veg out on the couch and I'm just going to call it a day. No matter what time of the day it is, I'm going to call it and I'm going to tell myself, I'm going to tell myself when I wake up in the morning, tomorrow will be a new day, but this one's over. So kids, go
wrap
to bed.
It up, boys.
It's 4 p.m. and go to bed, and I'm going to have some couch time. Yeah. So, I don't know, something like that, because if you ask me to try to think through maybe some of those positivities or what else I could kind of glean on, I feel like in my lowest, I'm just going to tell you I'm not interested. It's like I don't want to hear your positivity because I'm having a blah day, so leave me alone, kind of a thing.
Yeah, I wonder about this too. Anybody listening here might say, well, what you guys are talking about, it sounds like depression. It sounds like something that, is a little bit more serious in that. Nope, I don't think of it along those lines. I don't think of it as anything requiring medication or anything that's requiring.
What do you think the difference is? The difference between someone having a blah day and then depression. And I understand depression can mean many different things, but like, what do you think the difference is?
I think, initially, I think period of time.
Yeah.
I think this is not something that will continue in day after day after day.
Yeah.
More than likely tomorrow it's going to be an up day. It's going to be something, where I rebound from this kind of day and say, okay, I have more motivation here.
Yeah.
Kind of powered through it, identified it, number one, and then move forward and talked about it here on the podcast, and here we go.
Yeah.
So I think severity and time frame has a lot to do with it. What do you think?
That's where I lean towards, and I'm not speaking from experience with depression. I can't claim that. I can talk about anxiety and stuff like that all day long. And everyone's at a different spot. They say they have anxiety. They say they're depressed, or frankly, they say they're having a blah day. And I think you have to really drill down and ask each person what they mean by that to really know where they're coming from. Because maybe they are talking about depression, but maybe they're not. My head tends to say it's length of time, because like you, my blah days, I snap out of them, so to speak, typically within a day.
Thank good.
Oh yeah,
thank the Lord
God
for that.
Yeah. And if you're struggling with that, man, we're sorry, and that's, you're not alone, and that applies to anxiety or depression. You're no less of a person just because of that type of struggle.
That's just a different.
It's just a different struggle, but it's a really real and painful struggle. But I haven't associated them to be the same thing. They might have similar principles on whether someone's a follower of Jesus or not, who is ultimately in control. Who do we believe is ultimately in control? One can be pretty encouraging to think about. One direction can be in that. And another one could be pretty fatalistic. It could kind of keep you there. I think that could play to our emotions and our physicality and maybe just our drive. Some of it could be our, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole a little bit, but it could be some of it on our culture. We are.
What are we geared toward?
We like just this instant gratification, this action, we're going, this high energy, these dopamine hits, whether it's, I'll call them drugs, like real drugs, or many other things that give you the same effects as drugs. I mean, that could be as simple as eating junk food, to social media, to a sports game, to whatever,
or even amusement parks,
or any of this stuff. I mean, it's wherever you just get addicted to dopamine. So I think we have these constant highs. So when the occasional day comes and those items aren't associated within a 24-hour period, I think sometimes we hit a wall, and then we're like, well, today was terrible.
Or we don't have anything that's terribly exciting to talk about or to write home about.
No,
never understood that.
And that's the writing home thing.
Yeah, the writing home.
Wouldn't that be like a military, like
I would
writing
think
home?
So. Yeah. You have something to write home about?
Yeah. Are you making fun of the veterans right now?
That I would not do.
Wow. I'm sorry. I'm
just amazed at our language and the.
We are sorry. You may write home all you want. I'm sorry, Chris is a hater on writing letters.
Well, that certainly won't be boring once I start getting those letters. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
Feeling the energy coming back all of a sudden for my defense. No, I do think there's something about if someone says, "Hey, so how was your day? What'd you do?" And if you're kind of like, "Not much happened today," there's also this element of like, that's okay. Like, I do think we feel this pressure that we have to have a great answer to that question. And that's like the age-old question. We're going to hear that all the time. You bump into a stranger. How's your day been? Blah, blah, blah. It's okay that there wasn't much today. Like, who says there has to be these dramatic high energy accomplishments every day, all the time?
I don't know who.
I don't know. I feel like you're
I thought you had somebody in mind.
No, like I'm just saying
somebody who does that all the time. No,
who are you? I feel like we're making a.
I have no idea.
What? Oh my word, man! I thought you were going to say something there.
No, I know that the way that today shaped up, just we're transparent around here, and so
100%.
We'll show you behind the curtain here a little bit. Is that by the time that Wednesday rolls around, sometimes it's. What do you want to talk about today? Oh, I don't know, because it's always meant to be just a conversation. Like we're getting together at a coffee shop or at a restaurant, whatever. We're just going to get together. We're going to talk.
Yes.
And today, I really don't feel like I have anything to talk about. What about you?
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's where I let you know I'm feeling kind of blah.
Yeah.
And well, let's talk about that.
I mean, I personally love that. I think that is a typical day for all of us, honestly. And we invite anyone in this conversation of just having a cup of coffee with us. Sometimes you sit across the table and it's like, today was today. Like
nothing terribly exciting.
That's okay. See, even when I say that, I feel this tension that I want to be like, well, that stinks. I guess the day like was stunk. I'm like, but why does it have to stink? Because like, why is that? Because it wasn't as eventful. It wasn't as like who says 7 days out of every 7-day week you're supposed to have these huge highs every day?
I don't know who.
I can't find. Yeah, nice try. I can't find that in the Bible. I can't find that anywhere.
Yeah, no, it's not. You're not going to find it.
I'm
not going to find
it
either.
I don't find it in other areas of the world. I mean,
challenge anybody else to find that because it's not going to be in there.
Yeah,
I do know that once we started talking about this, the day got a little bit more exciting.
Yeah.
By the time that I came in here and walked into the office, saw you, and of course that excitement about, hey, we're gonna record a podcast episode.
Yeah.
That shook me out of that.
Yeah,
I mean, I think I was
cool.
out of it before then just by talking about the fact that we're going to be talking about this today.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of took away some of the doldrums out of the day.
Yeah.
But it also gave me an opportunity there too to think about, okay, well, what does the Bible say about this? Is it something that's normal? To have these periods of time where you're just waiting or you're having to kind of be patient and nothing's really happening. And we see that all over the Bible.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Ecclesiastes kind of talks about this in detail, about things even feeling meaningless. And so obviously that the author there just, was experiencing some blah.
Oh yeah.
About just about everything that could be named that's good, or in the eyes of man that's good. That's pretty meaningless. And so, what other things come to mind from the Bible?
So I would encourage anyone, like you said, so, the Bible has Old Testament and the New Testament. Ecclesiastes is in the old one. You can just look up a word that looks like Ecclesiastes, because I'm not smelling it right now. It's like ECCSE. You can look in the book of Psalms, and something I've appreciated that as I've gotten older. I'm not a musician, and there's lots of songs and musical kind of literature in there. So I kind of skipped over that in my past. But the raw emotion of whether you're questioning God, or you're lacking with patience, or you're just almost like shaking your fist up towards the heavens, like all legitimate prayers and honesty to God of just where you're at. And sometimes praying like, God, I don't feel like, I don't want to pray today. Yeah. Like, I don't even care. It's like, I know your word says this. I don't care today. I don't care about it. And I may not, it's possible I don't care about you today. Like, in that sense, it sounds terrible. We're not none of us are waking up, I think, and that's our goal for the day.
Yeah.
But it can be how we're feeling. And to feel that is not the sin. Like, to have that feeling is, you could not say sinner because you had that feeling. What do you do with that ultimately is what's important. Because, like we're saying, you got multiple spots in the Bible. People frustrated, not understanding, being honest. God saying, "Hey, you're a man after my own heart," while you're that same man who is struggling and things like that. So it's hard to. There's a lot of misnomers about the Bible, that everything in there is about all these people being perfect. Where I'm encouraged on how many people are just not perfect. We're all sinners.
I think it helps.
So there's a lot. There's a lot there. I mean, I would encourage anyone to look those up. There's a season and a time for everything, which also means you could go through a day or a season where you are walking with someone who's experiencing kind of having a lot of blah days. That's okay. Like, it's, for example, it's okay that most of your day was blah. Like, you're not any less of a man, right? You're not failing. You may feel all this, by the way, but the reality is you're no less. You're not failing. God loves you the same today as on your most excited non-blah days, right? Not a single thing has changed about his love for you and his character. You have your wife and your family and your friends. Not a single thought has changed on any of those relationships. And so it's probably also speaks to the importance of, we've said before, community and having a abundance of counselors. We need to hear it outside of our own heads.
I think that is the key. In isolation, not good, right?
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you did mention that, when feeling that way, it can be a doorway into sinful behavior.
Sure.
It can. It can lead you toward, overeating. It could lead you down paths where you're looking at porn. It could lead you to a variety of different things that are not of God.
Yep.
And if you have that community and you have those places to be able to say, hey, you know what? I'm not myself today. I'm not feeling 100%, or I'm feeling negative in this area. And you're able to reach out and have somebody, pour back into you and say, no, remind you of those things. You have a God loves you, number one. And these are examples of how God loves you through your family, through your friends, through your work, all these different things that can be named. Sometimes you just need to hear that.
Yep.
What I needed to hear today was just, hey, we don't have to have anything. We don't have to have a topic that we talk about.
No, not at all.
Nothing has to be exciting.
Yeah.
But you know what? Just being able to talk to God too in that time and be able to say, okay, well, if we're going to talk about this topic, let's explore it.
Yeah.
And ask God, why am I feeling this way? What do I feel like you're not providing in this? What do I feel like, or why is there a boredom right now? And he answers that.
Yeah.
He comes to the table and says, okay, well, the reason why is because maybe the focus isn't on me right now. Maybe it's on you. Maybe it's on the situations and not about what I can do and how I can, enter into those situations and make things completely different. There's a variety of answers God can bring to the table there because he's unlimited in power and he knows everything. So I think going back to what you said, asking the questions is going to be helpful during those times. And it was helpful for me today. Just, a recent example.
I think I'm probably at my worst when I have this crossroads of this apathy, blah kind of feeling. And then when I do not want to talk about it with someone else. And if you were to ask me, I'd just be like, I'm fine. Yeah. Or I'd be like, I'm good, having a great day. Cool. And I'm shut it down and don't want to talk about it. Because I think in those places is when I know it's when I'm most tempted. Because the mindset that plays in my head, which is a lie, is, well, I've already thrown in the towel. So who cares about the rest of the day? Yeah. And once I enter that mindset, it's like I've thrown in the towel, so I don't care anymore. Then comes it's like this flood of this sinful flesh that then just whatever it is I want to do or think or act on, it's just for me. It's just gratifying my own desires at that moment. But I feel like I only go there in a real tough way when I'm in that crossroads of blah and then not talking.
Yeah.
So when, we're talking about you in this kind of example, what are you always okay with talking with someone about it if they ask you, or do you just blow them off? I feel like I'm tempted just to blow someone off. I don't want to go there.
Yeah, I think I've seen the power of communication.
Yeah.
I would say more toward this half of life and know that a good conversation and being real and talking with people, at that deep level actually does have a lot of power, especially if you're, if you're sharing that time with a believer.
Yeah.
And so I'm open to it.
You're more open now than maybe you would have been when you were younger?
Definitely.
Is that what you're saying? Okay, right. So when you were younger, you would have been like, I'm not talking about this.
Now, seeking that out is a different story because I just imagine everybody's busy, not thinking about, do they have the time to really, but
you're more open to it.
Exactly. But I know with the friends that I have, if I were to just even text them and say, hey, man, I really need to talk to you right now.
Yeah.
There's not one that I can think of that would say, nope, don't have time for that.
Yeah.
They'd say, I'll call you as soon as I can.
I'm sorry I didn't call you back the other day when you texted me that.
I just moved on to number 3 and 4.
We need a laugh track on here. Do we have a laugh track, actually?
I don't think we do.
Let me see. I think it's... Oh, it's not that one.
Oh, yeah. That's not laughing.
That's not it.
That's not laughing.
We're having fun. So what
about you? Yeah. I'll just share that back with you. Do you tend to trend on the no, don't have time to talk about it?
I think I would like to answer and tell you that I will talk about it with people because it feels that's the right answer to give. No, I think I'd rather blow people off and stew in my sin when I'm having blah days. I don't want to work on it.
Yeah.
I probably tend to think in my head, I work on this stuff all the time. And so I don't want to today. It's just where I go. I mean, it's just, man, I'm just this, sin's just gross. I'm the worst sinner I know. I know internally, and I think a lot of people could say that. About themselves. What you're thinking. You know what kind of goes through your mind and stuff like that. And I can just go to a really tough place, and probably hence the blah feeling, because I'm turning my back on the Lord in those moments. I'm clearly not caring about my emotional or physical health, like my real health, because I'm just feeding the flesh. I'm just doing whatever I want to do. And so what do you know? I probably want to stay in that dark cloud. And so it's probably out of the mercy of God that I could maybe go to bed in a really bad place.
Yeah.
And praise God. Hopefully you wake up and the mercies are new every morning. The Bible kind of talks about that. It's a fresh day. And with new opportunities. And so, I would hope someone could hear this conversation and hopefully relate. Because I think if we're all honest, we have blah days and blah moments. But to not beat yourself up over it, because the fact of the blah day does not make you this terrible sinner or terrible human being. It makes you a human being. It makes you a real person. Someone who says they've never experienced a blah day and that just doesn't happen in their life, I'm pretty concerned for that person, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's going to be really hard for me to take them seriously. Maybe they really feel that way. I don't think they're being honest. But you're not a failure. And blah is okay. And that can be a normal day and a normal feeling. And I would talk to someone about it. I would just share with your friends, hey, I'm feeling blah.
Yeah. And they might say, you know what? I feel blah sometimes too.
Yeah, seriously. I think they will actually.
Yeah.
I think you'll connect. I think we connect with each other in our weaknesses. And so share that with someone. And it's totally great and good to ask, I wonder why I'm feeling that way today. Yeah. And just do a little self-reflection on that. But it's so helpful to do that with someone else who's not in your own head. The importance of not being isolated here. You can be a part of a church. You can be part of a friend club. You can go to the gym. You could direct message, whatever, DM a bunch of your friends. Do whatever. The point is just kind of get out of your own head. I think that is crucial, especially if you can manage to do it on blah days, which is my challenge. My challenge would be to do it on the same day.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful that you've processed today.
Sure.
And that's that's kind of why it's like, man, let's talk about this.
I reached out to my friend club.
Yeah. It's a real thing. It's a great conversation to have. And who doesn't go through this on any given, maybe day or week? If we're all honest, we've all been there. So how do you kind of move forward through that? It's kind of one step at a time. The heart of man plans his ways. The Lord establishes his steps. We walk through valleys. Our lives can be ebbs and flows. And when you're in the valley, you're moving through the valley. You're not just standing there. So today, you may feel like you're having a blah day. You're not moving. You might slowly be stepping, but you are taking incremental steps through a valley. And
you never know.
You come out of that.
You never know, too, by talking about it with other people, what they might share with you about how they actually get out of those valleys too. Some people are going to say, I go work out, or, I'll listen to a podcast, or even, just talking about it.
Yeah.
Helps, but you're going to pick up on different things and how people, that could be helpful to you. Going down the road. Mm-hmm. That, okay, well, next time that I feel this way, I know that this is a better, more healthy way. And sometimes that might be just helping other people so that you're not focusing in on self and that it does lead you back to, okay, this is, this is God working through me to help somebody else.
Yeah. That's good.
There could be a lot of power in that. And that can break up the block quite a bit and maybe even faster than, spending a lot of time just circling around. Thinking about, well, how do I break through the blah? Well, take some action.
Is that your inner voice, though? How do I break through the blah?
I hear that all the time. It's like it's a combination of Eeyore and
on the blah days. So as we kind of wrap it up, what's 1 to 2 things, whether it's today or other times, that you've done to help you move through that blah?
I think letting you know, number one, that,
talking about it.
Yeah. Hey, feeling kind of blah today. Don't really have anything.
Yeah.
Not bringing much to the table.
Yep.
There's not a lot that I'm carrying here. How many other analogies can we bring here? So that was basically it. It was, hey, Mike, don't have much.
Yeah.
And then, being able to, at that point, say, all right, well, we don't have to stay here.
Yeah. 100%.
And asking God for help in that too.
Yeah. That's good.
Saying, okay, I identify God physically, emotionally, spiritually, feeling a little bit dry here.
Yeah.
Can you change that for me? Mm-hmm. And sure enough, he did.
Yeah. It's a couple things for me has been when I've reached out to just a friend and you're just like, I'm having a rough day or I'm feeling blah. And sometimes they're like, me too. And I'm like, oh, cool. It's not just me. I actually feel better, almost instantaneously. Yeah. Another one for me lately has been, it's a combination of going on a walk. I just need to get outside, get away from it all.
That's helpful.
Yeah, a walk mixed in with, that walk is in essence exercise. So I'm just moving my body, moving my mind. I can go on a walk and maybe listen to some music or frankly have nothing on and I just walk. And all of a sudden it's not magic obviously, but it's like magically come back 30 minutes later and I am a different person.
Yeah.
To the point, there's times Joelle's been like, hey, maybe you should go for a walk. And of course, in that moment, I'm like, well, I don't need to go on a walk. But then I will, and I'll come back, and there's just something there. It's just the way God's created us. It's probably just moving around. It's recentering. It's breaking that mold. Those are a couple things that have helped me. But I'm always intrigued kind of what helps other people. So, we'd love to hear from you on, if you're listening to this, on one, do you... are we just two crazy guys that have blah days and no one else in the world has it, but we think everyone else in the world has it? Can you connect with us in that? Do you have blah days? And then if so, what helps you kind of move through those? And what have you learned? Because we'd love to talk about that and even share that, because I think everyone can identify with different solutions and kind of connect in those weaknesses.
Yeah, a lot of good can be done if you, number one, identify it, that, yes, this is something that happens to me maybe more often than I like, and then to what can be done about it, and then who can I help as a result of that too. So hopefully you found this helpful as you've listened to it. If you haven't, like Mike said, then we're just two crazy guys.
Yeah, just delete the podcast.
Yeah, just don't listen to it ever.
That's not true. That's not true. We actually want you to, keep listening. That'd be great.
Yes, we do, because we might run for president one day.
Oh, wait, we?
You, right? I think we're going to try to push your platform.
President Mobley doesn't really sound as good as President Howard. President Howard.
I think your slogan, let's mobilize.
Oh, no, that's never been my.
No,
that's never in the history of been my.
No.
Thanks so much for joining us. Please consider rating and reviewing our podcast and hitting subscribe on whichever platform you prefer. Remember to keep moving forward, because we're not quite there.